From Royal Communications Incorporated, good evening and welcome to King's News Broom. 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Friday, November 1, 2024, and I'm Sherman Dio presenting. In the headlines, Liberian government finally set free Ibrahim Kali Sharif, a Guinean accused of planning to overthrow the Guinea junta government. Controversies deepen at the House of Representatives as reports indicate President Joseph Boakai intervention and mandate to Vice President Jeremiah Kun to dismantle the anti-Kofa bloc. And also in the news, President Joseph Boakai names Councillor Jala Bambu as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code. Away from Liberia, Katero Kendeki has been sworn in as Kenya's new deputy president, as Senators Osted Rigati Gwachugwa in a dramatic series of impeachment votes a fourth night ago. These plus our news bulletin, voices of those making the news, are all packaged. But first, we'll take a short break to be back with the news bulletin. Welcome back. At this juncture, we join Newton Tokba with the news bulletin.
President Joseph Boakai has appointed Councillor Jala A. Babu as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code with immediate effect. That appointment follows the recommendation of the search committee, which identified Councillor Babu as the ideal candidate due to his extensive experience and qualifications. Councillor Babu's distinguished career includes roles at the head of the Law Reform Commission and as Dean of the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law at the University of Liberia, among other notable positions. The President has expressed full confidence that Councillor Babu will carry out this vital role with unwavering dedication, a commitment to justice, and loyalty to the state as he looks forward to the significant contributions the new executive director will bring to the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code in pursuit of justice of Liberia. President Boakai further calls on Councillor Babu to continue to demonstrate diligence, commitment, integrity, professionalism, and loyalty in service to the country. The presiding justice in Chamber of the Supreme Court has finally mandated Criminal Code 8 resident Judge Roosevelt Wule to release Ibrahim Kali Sharif, a Guinean national, from detention at the Monrovia Central Prison. Ibrahim Kali Sharif was accused of attempting to overthrow the government of Guinea. His release from the Monrovia Central Prison follows government chief prosecutor Councillor Augustine Faya's failure to submit an indictment to the court on October 25th. Based upon agreement during a legal conference with the justice in chamber, Councillor Faya was mandated to submit an indictment for the Guinean national, something our judicial correspondent said the government chief prosecutor has fallen short on. According to reports, Sharif attempted a coup on the Guinean government, which failed, had accused him to have fled to Liberia for hideout, where he was arrested and charged with criminal conspiracy, criminal solicitation, and paramilitary activities. The Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala says reconciliation among conflicting members of the House of Representatives is the surest way to end the ongoing political tussle at the lower house. Speaking first state when he presided over the majority black session in the joint chamber, Fala called on both parties to uphold the Liberian Constitution and the House's rules and procedures and prioritize the interests of the Liberians by taking on major national duties as a single body. Following his appearance in the Joint Chamber Thursday, the Deputy Speaker further took onto his official Facebook page announcing his reason for appearing before the majority bloc in the Joint Chamber. According to him, his decision to listen to the majority is in respect to the House of Representatives rules and procedures and the Liberian Constitution. But the Congress for Democratic Change executive has since condemned the Deputy Speaker, terming his decision to appear before the majority bloc as disobedience to the party's interest. Opposition CDC, through its acting national chairman Jangat Ko, recently accused President Joseph Boakai of masterminding the removal of Speaker Jonathan Fonatikofa. The Liberia Red Cross Society has conducted a life-saving stimulation exercise on road traffic accident response under the theme Building Resilience and Saving Lives will focus on strengthening local response to road accidents. The exercise was conducted by the regional office of the Liberia Red Cross Society in Fishtown, River G County. The exercise is part of the Red Cross Multi-Hazard Stimulation Plan with its 3-year Green Inclusive and Resilient Liberian Communities GERD project. Supported by the Embassy of Sweden through the Swedish Red Cross, the GERD project is actively enhancing community resilience, promoting climate change adaptation, and building local capacities in health and disaster risk reduction across Sino, River G, and Grand Cruz counties, respectively. President Joseph Boakai has suspended 3 officials of the Liberia Refugees Repatriation and Resettlement Commission over corruption allegations. Those suspended at El Privacy, Executive Director Patrick Wozi, Deputy Executive Director for Operations Richard Hoff, and Deputy Executive Director for Administration Ahmad Kane. Executive Mansion, in a release issued Thursday, October 31st, disclosed that the suspension take immediate effect and will remain in place without pay. The RC Executive Director Patrick Wozi and his 2 deputies have been accused of manipulating the returning list for personal gain, with aggrieved workers of the institution recently calling for their immediate dismissal. The release also indicates a report submitted to the Office of the President, which detailed questionable financial transactions involving the officials and others within the El RC. Meanwhile, the Liberal Anti-Corruption Commission has been directed to initiate a full-scale investigation into the corruption allegations at the Liberal Refugees Repatriation and Resettlement Commission. Action Aid Liberia and partners have ended a 3-day National Climate Justice Summit in Monrovia. The summit is part of efforts to finance climate change for agroecology and renewable energy. The 3-day summit has been conducted with over 40 CSOs signing a resolution. Speaking at the climax of the activities, the summit program coordinator Kohu Harris outlined the importance to improve climate sector in Liberia. Madam Harris lamented that the summit has provided education in key areas of agriculture and energy and further called on participants and government institutions to make maximum use of the right fertilizers for crops growing. For her part, the Executive Director of Women in Agriculture for Sustainable Development, Howard Donor, stressed the need for a strategic research in the climate sector, highlighting the setback land right it brings to the agriculture sector of Liberia. In furtherance, Madam Donor called for public and private partnership to help support Liberia's business community. Also speaking, the County Director of Action Aid Liberia, Elizabeth Johnson, expressed her excitement for the 3 days National Climate Justice Summit, which was supported by Action Aid Liberia. Madam Johnson called on participants to be the change of the climate in Liberia and Africa. She assured her organization preparedness to engage key stakeholders to ensuring the climate change initiatives are accorded the necessary support. The summit was held under the theme Financing for Agroecology and Renewable Energy and brought together women and youth groups from Liberia and other parts of West Africa. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has apprehended Matthew Mwaka, a man accused of impersonating as an LACC human resource officer in a widespread employment scam that's that span all 15 counties. Mwoko eligibly posed, posed as an official representative of the LACC, offering counterfeit job opportunities and issuing fake employment letters to unsuspecting individuals since 2022. The LACC disclosed that Mowako's fraudulent activities came to light after two men in Neighbor County filed complaints regarding his dubious hiring practices. The commission clarified that Mowako, a former Liberian National Police officer who retired in 2004, has never been employed by the LACC. Reports indicated that Mowako attempted similar fraudulent schemes in multiple counties, undermining public trust in Liberia's institutions. The commission is urging anyone who may have interacted with Mwako to report to the relevant authorities. The LACC reiterated its dedication to transparency and integrity of Liberia's institution, warning that many fraudulent activity of this nature will be met with full legal consequences. The Liberian Maritime Authority will host the 32nd Board of Governors meeting of the Regional Maritime University from November 5th to the 8th in Monrovia. The meeting, a major event in West Africa's maritime sector, will bring together key officials from the five founding member states, Cameroon, the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, to discuss the development of the maritime industry in the region. The gathering will kick off with a committee of experts meeting from November 5th to 7th, where maritime professionals and experts will deliberate on pressing industry issues, institutional policies, and strategies to enhance the operational efficiency of the RMU. This will be followed by the official opening ceremony and Board of Governors meeting, which will be chaired by Sierra Leone's Minister of Transport and Aviation, Mr. Alaji Fandi Toure, who is the current Chancellor of the Board of Chairmen of the RMU. The Board of Governors is the highest policy-making body of the RMU and is composed of ministers and heads of maritime bodies from the five member states. The meeting provides a platform for these officials to evaluate ongoing initiatives, review policies, and chart the strategic direction for the RMU's future. The RMU, which was formally inaugurated on May 26, 1983, was established to promote regional cooperation in the maritime industry with a specific focus on training and capacity building. By fostering collaboration among its member states, the university plays a pivotal role in ensuring the sustainable development and comprehensiveness of the West African maritime sector. The Central Bank of Liberia has clarified that Heren Samoy, Central Bank of Liberia's acting executive governor and former CEO of the International Bank Limited, remain in his role beyond his authorized tenure with CBL's approval. The Central Bank of Liberia emphasized that Samo's tenure extension, consistent with the previous extension granted to other CEOs and board members of the commercial banks, was approved in line with the CBL's corporate governance regulation and fit and proper guidelines to ensure continuity in International Bank Limited's leadership and maintain the bank's stability. CBI approved the extension at the request of International Bank Limited's Board of Directors. The decision followed the unanticipated resignation of the general manager designated to replace Samuel, who stepped down due to personal obligations. The CBL underscored its commitment to upholding regulatory standards and assured the public that executive tenures within financial institutions are managed in strict compliance with its regulatory oversight of Liberia's banking sector. The National Union of Organization for the Disabled has frowned on the non-fulfillment of many clauses of the Act establishing the National Commission on Disability. Reading the press statement on behalf of the group Friday, the president of the National Union of Organization for Disabled, Peter Flomo, disclosed that they want the government to ensure that job opportunities are provided for people people for this with disabilities and the provision of the programs through training and vocational institution for disabled. The National Union of Organization for the Disabled also wants the government to assign members of the disabled community in various public offices as a means of empowering them. Flomo at the same time noted that the National Union of Organization for the Disabled, in collaboration with the National Commission on Disabilities, wants the government and international organizations to provide full support in celebration of disabled community activities. Peter added that there is a need for all public buildings and sidewalk to have signs and symbols making it accessible for persons with disabilities, indicating that if the government will truthfully realize the sustainable development goals by 2030.
Newton Togba with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. Emmanuel, you listen to King's Newsroom for the 5 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one word. Stories to follow in tonight. Liberian government finally set free Ibrahim Kali Sharif, a Guinean accused of planning to overthrow the Guinean junta government. Controversies deepen at House of Representatives as reports indicate President Joseph Boakai intervention and mandate to Vice President Jeremiah Kong to dismantle the anti-Kofa blog. President Joseph Boakai names Councillor Jala Bambu as Executive Director of the Office of the World and Economic Crime Code. We'll take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The administration of the Jimmy Jidokon High School has expressed disappointment over what it termed as brutality and the use of lethal weapons against peaceful students or citizens, including students, by the Morovia City Police during the afternoon hours of Friday. What is better described as commotion erupted between officers of the Morovia City Police and the Commissioner of the Township of Ghannasville, resulting into throwing of stones and the release of tear gas. Speaking in an interview with this station, Jimmy Jidoko Administrator Zota Nangbewie said about 4 students were severely affected from tear gas shot by officers of the city police while in class, adding that they were later rushed at a nearby health center for treatment.
Today, November 1, we observed our classes that were uprising and we went there. Our students, some of them had difficulty in breathing. So we started to ascertain what transpired. We noticed that there was tear gas from outside the school compound that entered into the classroom that affected our students. 4 of our students were affected and we were brought down. We quickly took them to the nearest health facility. We decided to ascertain what transpired. When we went out, we learned that there was an issue between the Morovia State Corporation Police and Ghannasville Township, the commissioner. So we engaged the police and said they used tear gas, a weapon, and the school are being affected. Our students are having difficulty and we have 4 problems that are being taken to the nearest health facility. The police officer in person of one Fajibo that I can identify said if the school have issues, we should take them to the Supreme Court. Stones were thrown, sticks were being hit on each other. The commissioner himself, when I saw him, the trousers were torn. After few minutes, Morovia State Police sent for backup. A pickup came, the commissioner was arrested, beaten upon by the police. As I'm speaking, he's currently in the custody of the police. All those who are involved with the police, they were all arrested. Surveillance, people who were there, tear gas were being thrown, pepper spray and other things. Myself, I sustained injuries from what transpired. We really don't understand the position of the state police within the township of Ghannasville. Where we find ourselves as an institution, we're dealing with kids. There's a school zone, there's a market area. If you are releasing a weapon, as a police, as a security personnel, you should be cognizant of the fact that you have citizens who are parading, citizens who are doing business.
For his, for his part, Emmanuel Gay, a teacher of the institution, also informed Kings FM that canister of the tear gas affected many students in a 10th grade class where he was teaching.
He was there education by police in his classroom. He was school was in his class at the time. He sent two class, Mr. K. One of the students said, oh, Mr. J, what happened? We explained something here. We start going, I said, what happened in my class? I was telling, I'm bringing in my notes. So I said, well, we know, we saw, riot to be paid, us, upstairs. At the end of the day, we have to ask the administrator to do sitting down because my name was calling for breathing. And based on the vicinity of the school, also where you have the state police, they consider damage for us this afternoon. For us, we teachers, we don't really out there to observe the brutality. For the particular main person, people continue to complain of me. And immediately, the police depot are here. It's causing still havoc for the community. They are disturbing the people. They don't listen. Motorcyclists, if they listen, moving, or even balance your movement, that about no book approach. They so barbaric and people and all things. So we need serious national intervention.
Emmanuel Gay, a teacher of the Jimmy Jidokon High School, LIU, listened to the voice of the administrator of Jimmy Jidokon, Zota Nangbe Wiye. Meanwhile, according to our reporter who covered the scene, officers or the local deputy of the city police in the Ghanansville area declined to speak on the issue. Monserrado County District 9 Representative Frank Safoko has encouraged graduating nursing students of Smart University College to remain focused on their career path and prepared for the challenges they may face in the field. Speaking to over 100 prospective graduates during the institution's 20th annual Tea Party on October 31 at the Samuel K. Tho Gymnasium, Representative Foko acknowledged the hardships nurses often endure in their work, while lower wages being a primary concern.
You want to be recognized for your challenges and mistakes you make along the way. But trust me, on this journey, your contribution sometimes in most cases will not be recognized. But I have come to inform you as a young man who grew up through the ranks and file of Liberia. I have come to encourage you to remain focused. Each of you is stepping into a field where you will face these challenges every day of your life. As nurses and healthcare practitioners, you will not only treat illness and injuries, but you will serve as pillars of support for individuals who have faced unimaginable situations in Liberia. You will serve as mentors to mentees who are faced with even mental challenges. Please understand and note that the challenges ahead of you, it is not just to wear your white dress in the morning to go to the hospital. It's not just people running to you in the community to treat them, but understand with all these challenges, you may not easily be appreciated, but rather be blamed and insulted every day.
Monserrado County District 9 Representative Frank Safoko. Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala says reconciliation among conflicting members of the House of Representatives is the surest way to end the ongoing political tussle at the lower house. Speaking Thursday when he presided over the majority bloc session in the joint chamber, Fala called on both parties to uphold the Liberian Constitution and the House's rules and procedures and prioritize the interests of Liberians by taking on major national duties as a single body.
In my view, to be in the best interest of our people, to be in the best interest of the oath that we took to protect and defend. Distinguished colleagues on the other side, we are colleagues who going to work for the next 6 years in the interest of our people. There will be disagreements, but it is my anticipation that our disagreements, should not further divide us into the Liberian people business. So I have come to call on you, and I like the presentation made by our colleague Chairman of Judiciary, respecting the separations of powers, understanding the authority of the executive, understanding the authority of the legislature as well as the judiciary. We encourage some of us to give respect, as it is being said, to proceed from a team of lawyers representing this body in adherence to the request of the Honorable Supreme Court.
Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fowler. The Congress for Democratic Change Executive Committee has since condemned the Deputy Speaker, terming his decision to appear before the majority bloc as disobedience to the party's interest. The reformer ruled in party through its RT National Chairman, Janga Ko, recently accused President Joseph Boakai of masterminding the removal of Speaker Jonathan Fonantikofa.
Today, we have just concluded a very important meeting with the caucus chair, Senator Nathan Falomagio, and the Deputy Speaker. And we, in the strongest term, condemn the attempt of the Joseph Boakai government to infuse money at the National Legislature to try to remove the Speaker. We are thankful that that particular activity was aborted today, and we are constructively engaged with our lawmakers. We are warning our lawmakers to stay clear of this attempt to remove the Speaker, because the Speaker was elected, and the CDC further support the Speaker as we speak. So we're going to be
CDC Acting National Chairman Janka Ko. A reminder, you're listening to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Stories topping the news tonight. Liberian government finally sets free Ibrahim Kali Sharif, a Guinean accused of planning to overthrow the Guinea junta government. Controversies deepen at the House of Representatives as reports indicate President Joseph Boakai intervention and mandate to Vice President Jeremiah Kun to dismantle the anti-Kofa blog. President Joseph Boakai names Councillor Jala Bambu as Executive Director of the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code. And away from Liberia, Katero Keneki has been sworn in as Kenya's new Deputy President as Senators Osted Rigati Gachukua in a dramatic series of impeachment votes a fortnight ago. We'll take a break to be back for more voices. The National Union of Organizations for the Disabled has frowned on the non-fulfillment of many clauses of the Act, establishing a National Commission on Disability. Reading the press statement on behalf of the group Friday, the president of the National Union of Organization for the Disabled, Peter Flomo, disclosed that they want the government to ensure that job opportunities are provided for people with disabilities and institutions for disabilities.
Has drawn to issues unfolding within the rank and file of the government of the Republic of Liberia. Paramount among these is the non-fulfillment of many causes of the Act establishing the National Commission on Disabilities and the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. On a serious note, we want to sound a clarion call to the government of Liberia through the office of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Dr. Joseph Newman Boakai, to ensure jobs placement and gainful employment for persons with disability, including sustainable empowerment programs through vocational training, higher education, and small, medium enterprises for self-reliance as per Article 27 of the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. We are calling on the government of the Republic of Liberia for the increment of the National Commission on Disability fiscal and budget for programs, implementation, and support to the National Union of Organizations for the Disabled, administrative and operational expenditure.
Flomo at the same time noted that the National Union of Organizations for the Disabled, in collaboration with the National Convention on Disabilities, wants the government and international organizations to provide all support in celebration of disabled community activities.
The National Union of Organizations of the Disabled, known in collaboration with the National Commission on Disability, NCD, are requesting 4 years support from the government of Liberia through the office of the President, His Excellency Dr. Joseph Newman Boakai, and the United Nations Development Program for the annual celebrations of the World Working Safety Day, the International Week of the Deaf, and the International Day of Persons with Disability, exactly as we usually done in the past years. All public and private buildings, including sidewalk, should be accessible for persons with disabilities so that by 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals could be fully realized in Liberia.
President of the National Union of Organization for the Disabled, Peter Flomo, they're speaking. Schools of public school students in Monserrado have staged a peaceful protest at the Ministry of Education to question the Ministry on Public Schools graduation ceremony. Speaking on behalf of the student, the president of William V.S. Tubman High School, Abraham King, said it is sad that the Ministry of Education has failed to monitor policy that has been placed on senior students within the country, especially students who have not passed 5 subjects in WAS but graduating.
What really go on is that the ministry set up a policy, and the policy, after they have said it all, they know went to the public to tell the students, community, and parents, and so on to as well, that they have set up a policy that if you not pass 5 subjects in WAS, including math and English, you won't graduate. And students always have the mindset that if you not pass 5, you will not graduate. But we waited after the result, when the preliminary result came out, then we saw the condition of the result. Our result was a little bit good than the private institution. But we waited to hear what the ministry will say if graduation will be whole or not. So we waited, ministry couldn't tell anything about the graduation. So we see our brothers and sisters from the private institution, they are beginning to pull out the graduates, the private schools going to pull out the graduates, and we are still sitting waiting for the ministry. So, and we know, so we came to the ministry a few days ago, they scored, they posted, oh, they want to use on SYC, and they have the policy, why when the white result released, why they not went over and tell the student that if you not pass 5, you not graduate. So we can know that, or the private school students too, they themselves can know that if you not pass 5, you not graduate. But they allow them to graduate, then now they put stop with us.
What was the conversation between you and the minister?
We discussed a lot pertaining on the wise result, also
representing the students in the meeting, the superintendent of the Moravia Consolidated School System, James Momo, disclosed that the situation was resolved between the Ministry of Education and the public school students.
Where it's resolved, the students will go ahead to have their Thanksgiving program. So I think it's a good day for us.
So what time do we expect students from the public schools to start their graduation?
No, we say Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving activities. They are going to do their Thanksgiving activities. That's what I'm telling you. Okay. Because right now, we have issues with WAEC results, inconsistencies, and all of these things. So we're now going to tell the students that you've completed all of the requirements to graduate from our high schools. So now we're going to let you go. We have a Thanksgiving program.
Now, recent your office sent some students out of the country. Can you give us some brief information about
Oh yeah, they are enjoying themselves.
how many person?
18,
18 person.
15 teachers, and 3 students.
Okay, what
And even the very students.
what does that mean for your office?
Oh, well, it means that we are meeting the arrest agenda. We have a vision, a clear focus.
Superintendent of the Moravia Consolidated School System, James Momo. Earlier, you heard the voice of Abraham King, president of William V.S. Topman High School. Action A Liberia and partners have ended a 3-day National Climate Justice Summit in Monrovia. The summit is part of efforts to finance climate change for agroecology and renewable energy. The 3-day summit has been conducted with over 40 CSOs signing a resolution. Speaking at the climax of the activities, the summit program coordinator, Cole Harris, outlined the importance to improve climate settle in Liberia.
That we're hoping to address, and hopefully the next climate justice summit, we can be able to respond to that. But there's an issue with the terminology. So when you hear climate smart agriculture, before then, we actually used to think it's a form of agriculture that is very resilient, that people can be able to farm in a way that do not harm the environment. But guess what, guys? Climate smart agriculture now is greenwashing. And when we say greenwashing, I'm not saying it because I feel like it has been proven. There are a lot of reports. There have been so many studies that have been done that have proven that climate smart agriculture is a false solution. Meaning, people or industry use the term to put forth the four solutions. So, for example, you found out that an industry that is supplying or producing synthetic fertilizers that we've been talking about, or chemical fertilizers that we've been talking about.
For our part, the Executive Director of Women in Agriculture for Sustainable Development, Howard Donner, stressed the need for a strategic research in climate sector, highlighting the setback land right art brings to the agricultural sector of Liberia.
The first edition of the National Stakeholders Conference on Agroecology and Renewable Energy in Liberia was a 3-day of active engagement and discussions among agriculture and energy actors and right holders in a form of awareness, provision, dialogue, and advocacy. The conference shines the light on important themes such as access to information and extension services, raising awareness of agroecology and gaining commitments from stakeholders.
Also speaking, the country director of Action A Liberia, Elizabeth Jensen, expressed her excitement for the 3 days National Climate Justice Summit, which was supported by Action A Liberia.
So, on behalf of the senior management team of Action A Liberia, and also our executive director, Arthur Larry, who for some reasons he could not be here or even say hello as he wanted to. We want to appreciate you all, especially the civil society actors that came together, about 40 plus that came together in the government institutions. When we started this job, we went to all of the different institutions just to sell the idea. We also visited relevant states, and they were all very, very excited to be part of this, and we have seen it before.
Country Director of Action A Liberia, Elizabeth Johnson, bringing us to a near end of this edition of King's News Broom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. Liberian government finally set free Ibrahim Kali Sharif, a Guinean accused of planning to overthrow the Guinean junta government. controversies deepen at House of Representatives as reports indicate President Joseph Boakai intervention and mandate to Vice President Jeremiah Cohn to dismantle the anti-Kofa blog. You also heard in the news President Joseph Boakai names Councillor Jala Bambu as Executive Director of the Office of the World and Economic Crime Code. And away from Liberia, Kituru Ken Diki has been sworn in as Kenya's new deputy president after Senator Austin Rigati Gachugua in a dramatic series of impeachment votes a fortnight ago. Many thanks to all of our hard-working reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's News Brown Resources. Newton Togba brought you the news bulletin. Colonel Johnson sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this production. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Deere, our presenter. Thanks for listening and watching.